In this video, we're going to take a look at the large Saharan dust plume that has been tracking westward across the Atlantic Ocean. So in the middle of June, a pattern of strong winds developed across western Africa and the eastern Atlantic Ocean, and that helped to loft a large plume of Saharan dust into the atmosphere, which then moved westward into the Atlantic Ocean. And that wind pattern was sustained for a prolonged period of time, helping to drive a large and sustained plume of Saharan dust. By June 23rd, that plume of dust had reached into the eastern and central Caribbean. And you can see here on June 24th, a close-up near Cuba and Hispaniola of the very dense plume of dust that was moving across those areas at that time. Now, that dust continues to move westward towards the Gulf of Mexico and up towards the United States. And we'll look back at how this pattern all began here by looking at a model analysis back on June 13th, where we had an area of high pressure to the northwest of Africa, strengthening the east to west flow of air across western Africa and into the Atlantic Ocean. And that high has stayed fairly stationary for the last week or so, helping to continually drive this plume of dusty air off the Sahara westward into the Atlantic Ocean. And what has also been in place is a series of high pressures farther west as well. And so we've had this concentrated band of strong east to west winds across the tropical Atlantic and up towards the Gulf of Mexico and southeastern U.S., which has been essentially driving that plume of dust straight westward and then up towards the U.S. here in recent days. So if we animate this and look back from June 13th to the present, you can see the development of this dust plume denoted by those greens and oranges and reds you see here, showing all those aerosols or dust particles from the Sahara Desert that were lofted into the eastern Atlantic and then blown westward by those strong east to west winds. So it wasn't just one burst of dust, but a series of bursts of dust that kind of congealed together and produced one very dense cloud of dust that then progressed westward into the Caribbean. And here is the forecast for the next 10 days, and you can see the overall evolution of the pattern. Note that much of the southern U.S. will be seeing this dust as we head through the next several days. And there's also another plume of dust behind this first one that's moving westward as well. Now, this next plume of dust isn't quite as dense as the first one, but will still be notable and visible as it does move through the areas impacted. And even behind that one, there will be likely some additional plumes of dust moving off into the Atlantic during the coming weeks as well. This is all very typical for this time of the year. And typically, from now through much of July, you tend to see a lot of these plumes of Saharan dust. And likely, again, we will see more of these coming up here for the next several weeks. And so certainly an interesting weather event as part of the Sahara Desert moves all the way across the Atlantic and into the U.S. Anyway, that's all for now, and thanks for watching. Bye.